Welcome, everyone. Welcome to yoga. So today we're going to kind of focus on hips and twists. So I was kind of thinking of a fun name to call this class, and I came up with the hippie twist. So hip openers and some twists should feel really good on your body today, hopefully. So we will start on our backs. So go ahead and come to your mats and lie down with knees bent or legs straight. Then take off my sweatshirt before we begin. So if your knees are bent, you can point them straight up toward the ceiling. You can walk your feet out towards the edges of the mat, letting the knees rest against each other, or you can bring the soles of your feet together, letting the knees open out to the sides. And if you really want to start to get into the hips and the inner thighs right away, you can take this last position and we'll close the eyes, taking a few deep breaths here. Starting to focus our attention inward towards the body, away from any outside distractions, thoughts, worries, stresses, tension. We'll just leave all of that stuff behind us. So now if you don't already have your legs in this sort of lying down butterfly position, go ahead and make your way there, bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. And then we'll stack the right foot on top of the left, just giving a little bit more sensation on that right side by elevating the foot a couple of inches or so. And then we're going to switch. So stacking the left foot on top of the right. And then let's go ahead and unstack the feet and bring our knees together. Maybe walking the feet in a little closer to the bottom, taking arms all the way out into a T position, and then we'll drop both knees to the right for a lying spinal twist. Keeping those shoulders on the mat, and maybe turning the head to look down your left arm. And then we'll release, bringing the knees and the head up to center, taking the knees over to the left, maybe looking down your right arm. Moving with the breath, inhaling the knees up to center, exhaling them to the right, inhaling them through center, and then exhaling them to the left. We'll just do a few more of these, moving with the breath. Inhaling knees through center, exhale, alternate from side to side. You can leave your feet on the mat or pick them up. Keep your head still or look in the opposite direction of the knees as you twist. Let's take a couple more to each side. We'll bring those knees into center when we're done. Give them a little squeeze, hugging them into the chest. We'll release the feet down, take those arms back out into that T position. Crossing the left leg over the right thigh, sliding the hips slightly to the left, and then we'll take both knees to the right. So taking another lying spinal twist, this time with our legs crossed. If this is a little too much for your back, please just uncross your legs and stack your knees. Keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe looking down your left arm. Let's bring those knees back up to center, keeping them crossed. Go ahead, center your hips, picking the feet up, grabbing a hold of the opposite feet with the hands. You can grab on your ankles if you prefer. And then we'll pull those feet in towards us. So we're doing a lying down cow's face pose, Gomukhasana. And then we'll release, taking arms back out into that T. Uncross the legs, recross them the other way. Right leg over the left, slide the hips slightly to the right, dropping both knees to the left, keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe turning the head to look down your right arm. And we'll bring those knees back up to center, keeping them crossed, centering the hips, picking the feet up, grabbing a hold of the opposite feet or ankles with the hands, pulling them in towards us. And releasing, uncrossing the legs, hugging the knees into the chest again. Opening up the knees, reaching the arms between the legs, grabbing a hold of the big toes with the first two fingers and thumb. You can grab the outsides of the feet or your ankles, reaching those feet up toward the ceiling for happy baby, pressing the tailbone down towards the mat. And then if you like, you can gently rock from side to side. Keep pressing that tailbone down towards the mat. And come back to center, extending the right leg out long. Bending the right knee again, extending the left leg out long. Bending the left knee again, extending both legs out long. Press that tailbone down towards the mat. And we'll release, hugging the knees into the chest again. We'll take some rocks from side to side. Placing hands on the kneecaps and circling them around, first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. And turning to center, either rolling to one side, make your way up to a seat that way, or grabbing a hold behind the knees, using your legs to create a little momentum and rocking up into any comfortable seat you choose. So you can sit cross-legged if you like. If that's not comfortable for you, you can extend your legs out into staff pose, Dandasana. You can sit on a blanket if you've got one. Rolling our shoulders up, back, and down. And then we'll drop the chin down towards the chest. Bring the head back up to neutral. Taking the right ear over towards the right shoulder, keeping both shoulders down. Maintaining that head tilt, just rotating the head, dropping the chin down towards your right shoulder. Rotating the head to look forward again. And then we'll bring the head back up to neutral. Taking the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Dropping the chin down towards that left shoulder. Bringing the head to look forward again. And then bringing that head back up to neutral. Drawing the chin in slightly towards the throat, keeping those shoulders back and down. Let's turn the head to look over the right shoulder, keeping the chin level with the floor. Keeping that chin tucked in, come back through center, look over the other shoulder. Returning to center, bringing the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release, taking some shoulder circles. First to the front. Sounds like every single dog in my neighborhood is barking right now. Hopefully you guys can't hear them. Taking one more circle to the front, and then we'll circle those shoulders to the back. And we'll take one more, leaving those shoulders back and down, placing hands on knees, circling the torso around in the hips. Inhaling as you bring the chest to the front, exhaling as you round the spine to the back, moving with your breath. Making these circles as large or as small as you like. Let's take one more in this direction. Pausing and then circling around in the opposite direction. Again, inhaling to the front, exhaling to the back, move with your breath. Let's take one more. Coming back to center, moving into a breathing twist, inhaling, reaching both arms up overhead. Exhaling, gently twisting to one side, placing one hand in front and one behind, and inhale it back up. Exhaling as we twist to the other side. So moving with your breath at your pace, inhaling, reaching, exhaling, twisting. You can look over your back shoulder as you twist, or just look to the side, whatever feels best for you and your neck today. Let's hold on one side. If you like, you can take your front hand to your opposite knee, pressing into the knee to go a little deeper into that twist. And release, inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side. Again, front hand, opposite knee, press into the knee, go a little deeper here. And release, inhaling the arms up, exhaling the hands into the heart. And just taking a few deep breaths here, maybe taking this moment to set an intention for your practice today. Remembering as always that this is your practice, so please modify or skip any poses that don't work for your body today. Always listening to your body, staying with your breath, and staying in the present moment. Let's make our way into easy pose. So sitting cross-legged, but we're going to separate the legs a little bit so that we can see both of our feet and our ankles are kind of lined up. And then we'll walk the hands out to the front, dropping the head between the arms. And then we'll lift the head and walk our hands away from our front leg. So if your right leg is in front of the left, walk your hands to your left or vice versa. And then drop the head back between the arms. You should feel a little bit more sensation in the hip of that front leg. Lifting the head up, bring the hands to center, walking them in, switching our legs. Take your other leg in front. Again, see if you can separate your legs enough so you can see both of your feet and line up your ankles. And then we'll walk the hands to the front again. You're up in the head between the arms. Lifting the head and walking our hands away from that front leg, dropping the head back between the arms. Lifting the head back up, bringing the hands to center, walking them in. And we'll make our way to all fours for some cat and cows. Bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees under the hips. If you need to, you can pad your knees with a blanket or by folding up your mat. And when you're ready, we'll begin our cat and cows. Inhaling, dipping the belly down, looking up into cow. Exhaling, arching the spine, tucking the chin and the pelvis under into cat. Moving with your breath, warming up the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. Elbows stay a little soft. Core is engaged, pelvic floor is lifted. Let's take a few more in each direction. Coming back to neutral spine. Let's tuck our toes under, stretching the bottoms of the feet. Staying here at all fours or walking the hands back towards the knees, maybe walking them all the way up onto the thighs, stacking the shoulders over the hips. And then we'll bring the hands back to the mat, lifting the knees. Coming into a tiptoe seat, raising and lowering our heels. And we'll stop our movement, walking our hands around to the right side of the mat, bringing both arms on the side of the leg if you can get them there. You can leave your hands on the mat or you can bring the hands to the heart, pressing the left elbow into the right thigh. Releasing the hands down, walking them around to the other side of the mat. Again, see if you can get both of your arms on the side of the leg. Leave your hands on the mat or bring the hands into the heart. And we'll release, walking the hands around to the front. Bringing the knees down and untucking the toes. And then let's widen our knees. So bring the knees out towards the edges of the mat. Toes stay together, sinking the hips back into a child's pose. So child's pose with our knees separated. So either extending the arms out to the front of the mat or stacking hands or fists and resting the forehead on them. It's a little challenging to bring the hands back by the feet when the knees are separated because your knees kind of get in the way of your arm. So probably either have the arms extended or stacked, the hands stacked. If this is really uncomfortable for you, just bring those knees together, that's fine. And then let's extend the arms out to the front of the mat. We'll bring the knees back in a little, coming into more active extended child's pose. Bring the ears right in between the arms. Couple nice breaths here. And then when you're ready, make your way into downward facing dog. We'll come forward into a kneeling plank, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, making our way into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So if you like, you can make some movements in this first downward dog, maybe pedaling out your feet, maybe shaking your head out, maybe taking one leg up in the three-legged dog at a time. Whatever feels right for you and your body today. Remembering that might be no movement, or you might just want to drop back down into child's pose if downward dog isn't working for you today. If you are moving your downward dog, once you're done with those movements, settle into your downward dog, tucking the chin, looking back between the legs. We'll look up at the hands and just walk the feet up to the hands. Coming into forward fold. Feet are hip width apart. We'll soften the knees, grab opposite elbows, and just allow the upper body to hang. Shaking the head out from side to side. Taking it front to back. Swing a little torso from side to side. Returning to center, releasing elbows, placing hands on shins or thighs, extending the spine, looking forward. Take a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold, softening the knees. Inhale, reverse one dive, come all the way up. Exhaling the hands into the heart. And release the arms down into Tadasana, mountain pose. And we'll take a nice big step out to the side. Toes turn out about 45 degrees. Moving through our moonflowers and sunflowers. On your next inhale, reaching to the corners of the room. Exhaling, bending the knees, bring the elbows into the sides, and inhale, reach up and out. Exhaling as we bend. A couple more here, inhale. And exhale. One more moonflower. And exhale, transition into sunflowers. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms down and around as we fold, and inhale brings us back up. Exhaling as we fold. Couple more here, inhale. And exhale. Last one. Exhale down. We're going to leave the hands down. Bend your knees as much as you need to get them to the mat, or you can bring in a block. You may want to widen your stance a little bit, but keep those toes turned out. And then we're going to oil our hip joints. So just bending one knee at a time, going back and forth, moving at your own pace. You might hear some joint noises happening. I know I'm getting a clicking in my ankle, and my knees are kind of making some little poppy noises, but not to worry unless there's pain. Pain is not good. Noises are okay. Let's do one more on each side. And we'll come back to center, bending both knees, walking the hands up onto the thighs, and then bringing the hands into the heart, stacking the shoulders over the hips. And we'll release, inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up overhead. Turning towards the front of the mat, stepping the back foot to the front, releasing the hands into the heart. And then drop the arms down by the sides, standing nice and tall in Tadasana. So moving through our sun salutations. So we are going to do the version with the twist in it. If you don't want to do that version today, you have a different version you prefer to do, your own favorite sun salutation or different warm-up of your choosing, please do that at your own pace. Starting near the top of the mat, inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees, hands to the mat, stepping the right foot back. Stay up on the toes or lower that right knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, and we twist. Releasing the left hand, stepping the left foot back for downward dog or child's pose. Inhaling forward to plank. Staying on the toes or dropping the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Stepping the right foot up by the hands. If you get stuck, just help it get there. Stay on toes or drop your left knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, and we twist. And release, take your left foot to the front, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come on. Exhale, hands to the heart. Repeating on the other side, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Left foot steps to the back. Stay on toes or drop the knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twisting. And releasing, taking the right foot back, downward dog or child's pose. Inhale the plank. Stay on toes or drop the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Left foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your right knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, and we twist. And release, take the right foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands into the heart. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Right foot to the back. Stay on toes or drop the knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, twisting. And releasing, taking the left foot back. Downward dog or child's pose. Inhale the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Right foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your left knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twisting. And releasing, taking the left foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come up. Exhale the hands into the heart. And we'll do that once more on the left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold with soft knees. Left foot steps back. Stay on toes or drop the knee. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up, twisting. And releasing, taking the right foot back. Downward dog or child's pose. Inhale the plank. Exhale, chaturanga on knees or toes. Inhale, cobra or dog. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. Left foot steps up by the hands. Stay on toes or drop your right knee. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, and we twist. And release, take the right foot to the front. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, the hands into the heart. And release the arms down. Take a few deep breaths here. Maybe some open mouth exhales. If you're feeling a little warm and you want to release some of that heat, let it come out of the mouth. Slowing the breath down. Let's inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the right foot to the back. Turning that foot out 45 degrees, dropping the heel, keeping the left knee bent, walking up the left leg for Virabhadrasana Echo Warrior One. So if you like, you can adjust your hips in this pose using your right hand, gently pressing that right hip forward. And then whatever arms you like for your Warrior One. You can extend the arms up overhead with your palms touching, your arms parallel, arms out into a V or bending the elbows 90 degrees and taking cactus arms. You can rest the hands at the heart or on your hips. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing here. Let's open it up into Warrior Two, spinning that back foot out a little bit more, up to 90 degrees, no more than that. Arms extend out parallel to the floor, relaxing those shoulders down. Left knee is pointed straight over the left toes. Shoulders are stacked over the hips. Breathing here. Straightening out the left leg, shifting hips back as you reach for the front of the room, dropping that left hand down. Coming into Utthita Trikonasana triangle pose. So you can rest your left hand on your left leg as long as it's not on the knee joint. You could rest it on a block if you have one, or take it all the way down to the mat. As long as you're not kind of collapsing the chest down towards the floor just to get your hand there. Right arm can reach straight up toward the ceiling. We can rest on the side. We can bring it behind the back. We're going to release the right arm down to the side, if it's not already there. We're going to move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon bounce. So we're going to bend the left knee and bring our left hand with or without a block out in front of that left foot, maybe slightly diagonal to the foot. Now you could step your feet together first and then lift the right leg off, or you can just use a little bit of a push off of that right foot and lift into half moon balance, Ardha Chandrasana. So that right arm can stay resting on the side, or you can float that arm up toward the ceiling. Right leg is really active, left knee is a little soft. And then we're going to step this foot back down. Coming back up into Warrior Two. And then we're going to bring the hands down to frame that left foot, coming up onto the right toes, dropping the right knee. So we're coming into a low lunge. So you could pad that right knee if you need to, making sure your left knee is stacked over the left ankle. The right knee is behind the right hip. And then we'll walk our way up this left leg, clasping the hands together on top of the thighs, sinking the hips down towards the mat. Let's bring the hands into the heart. And we're going to twist right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. If you can't get your elbow all the way across, just take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh, and then the left hand can rest on your low back, right on that sacrum. You have the option, if you want to, tuck the right toes under and lift the knee. And we'll drop that right knee down, unwinding our twist. Bringing the hands down to frame the foot. And then let's Let's take this left hand to the right of the foot to come into lizard. Staying up on your palms or lowering the elbows down towards the mat, maybe resting them on a block if you have one, maybe bringing them all the way down to the mat. You can leave your left foot where it is, or you can walk it out towards the left side of the mat. You can stay on the sole of the foot. You can roll to the outside edge of that foot, maybe even creating a little bit of movement, rocking from the sole of the foot to the outside edge of the foot and back again. Moving nice and slowly if you are deciding to create that movement. And if you are moving, go ahead and stop your movement. Come back up to your palms if you lowered. Walk that foot back in if you walked it out. And we'll step that left foot back either into downward dog, child's pose, or if you want, you can step back into plank and move through vinyasa, coming from plank through chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, and then back to downward dog. From downward dog, we'll step the right foot up by the hands, turning the left foot out 45 degrees, walking up that right leg for warrior one on the other side. Again, maybe adjusting those hips if you like, guiding that left hip forward, leveling the hips out, and then finding whatever arms you like for your warrior on this side. Opening to the side for warrior two, turning that back foot out a little bit more, making sure the right knee stays tracking over the right toes. Relaxing those shoulders down. Straightening out the right leg, shifting hips back as you reach for the front, dropping that right hand down, resting it on the leg, bringing your block or placing the hand on the mat. Left arm can reach up toward the ceiling. You can rest on the side or bring it behind the back. Let's rest this left arm on the side. Looking down at the right foot, bending the right knee, bringing our right hand out in front of that foot with or without a block, maybe moving it kind of diagonally to the foot. So you can step your feet together first, or just push off that left leg and lift it up parallel to the floor. Right knee is soft, left leg is active. Left arm can rest on the side, or we can float it up toward the ceiling. Opening the hips and the torso to the side. And then we'll lightly land that foot back into warrior two. And we'll bring the hands down to frame the foot. Coming up onto the left toes and then dropping that left knee down, making sure the right knee is stacked over the right ankle, the left knee is behind the left hip. And then when we're ready, walking up the right leg with our hands, clasping them together on top of the thighs, sinking the hips down towards the mat. And we're going to twist this pose, so we'll bring the hands into the heart. Taking the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, or the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, and the right hand to the low back. Option to tuck your left toes under and lift the knee. If that back knee is lifted, release it, unwind your twist, bring the hands down to the mat. Taking both hands to the left of the foot, towards the instep side of that foot, moving into lizard on this side. So again, you can keep your arms extended, you can bend the elbows and lower them down. You can leave your foot where it is or walk it out to the right side of the mat. Staying on the sole of the foot or rolling to the outside edge of the foot. Staying still or creating a little bit of movement if that feels good for you and your hip today. And we'll stop whatever movement we're making. We'll come back up to the palms. If we lower it down, we'll walk that foot back in. If we walked it out, stepping back into downward facing dog, tucking the left toes under, taking that right leg back. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stay there, bend that right knee and twist, reaching that knee up toward the ceiling, opening up the hips. Releasing that twist, bringing the right knee to the right wrist for pigeon kapotasana. Sliding that left leg back. You can prop underneath the right hip if you like. If this is really not working for you today, you can roll over onto your back and take a figure four with your legs, reaching your right arm between the legs. And then if you're staying in pigeon, keeping those hips level, folding when you're ready, resting the head on a block, on your hands, or on the mat. And we'll release coming up. Planting the hands at the front of the mat, tucking the left toes under, lifting those hips up and back. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stay there, bend the knee and twist, reaching that knee up toward the ceiling, opening up the hips. Releasing that twist, bring the left knee to the left wrist for pigeon on the other side. And again, take that figure four on your back if this is bothering you. Make sure your hips stay level. You might want to prop underneath the left hip and then fold when you're ready. And we'll release coming up. Rolling onto that left hip, we'll bring that right leg around to the front, coming into staff pose, Dandasana, extending the legs out long. You can move some of the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. If you have a blanket, you can sit on the edge of your blanket. You might also want to have your strap handy. Flexing the feet, inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhaling as we fold, reaching for your feet, your ankles, your shins, or your thighs, or using your strap to extend your reach, looping it around the bottoms of the feet and pulling on the ends, keeping the spine nice and neutral, relaxing those shoulders away from the ears. And release. If you're using a strap, leaving it wrapped around the bottom of your left foot, taking your right foot out, bending the right knee, and then letting that knee open out to the right side for Dhanam Shirshasana. You can prop the knee if you like. Placing one hand on either side of the left leg, turning the chest to face the leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Reaching for your foot or strap or anywhere along the leg. You can take a cross grip with your hands if you like, reaching for opposite sides of the foot or leg with your hands, centering just over the left leg. And we'll release coming up. Bring the right knee up. We'll step that foot up and over to the outside of the left thigh. You can move your left leg straight or bend it underneath you. Hugging the knee with the left arm, the right arm comes behind us for a twist. So you can stay here hugging your knee, or you can bring your elbow past your knee, or if you like, you can bind the pose, taking the elbow past the knee first, extending that arm out, internally rotating so the thumb points down, reaching that arm between the legs, and then coming behind the back with your right arm, reaching for your shirt, a strap, or your left fingers. And we'll release that. Extending the right leg out, bending the left knee, letting that knee open out to the left side, maybe propping the knee, maybe setting up the strap around the bottom of your right foot, placing one hand on either side of the right leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching again for the foot, strap, or anywhere along the leg, maybe taking that cross grip again with the hands. And we'll release coming up. Bringing the left knee up, we'll step that foot up and over. And keep your right leg straight or bend it underneath you. Hugging the knee with the right arm, the left arm comes behind us for a twist. And again, you can stay hugging your knee. You can bring your elbow past your knee, or you can reach through the legs, come behind the back, and bind. And we'll release. Uncrossing the legs, and we'll roll it all the way down onto the back. Hold on behind your knees, or challenge your core by not holding on and trying to go down as slowly as you can, one vertebrae at a time, tucking the chin into the chest. Once you're down, hug those knees in. Take some rocks from side to side. Placing hands on top of the kneecaps, circling them around, first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Returning to center and hugging the right knee and releasing the left leg, giving that right knee a squeeze. Setting the right leg up, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And circling around, first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling the right leg in towards you for a hamstring stretch. Your left leg may be bent, or you can straighten that leg out along the floor. Extending the right leg out towards the right side, keeping your left side on the mat. Put your hand on your hip to kind of hold it there. And we'll take that right leg up and across the body over to the left, reaching the right arm out into a T. Keeping your right shoulder on the mat, maybe looking down that right arm. And we'll release, bring the right leg back up. Bending both knees, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh for that figure four, reaching your right arm between your legs and pulling on the left leg so you can clasp the hands together on the back of the left thigh or on the front of your left shin. And we'll try and line that left knee up with the left shoulder. We'll release that right leg, hugging the left knee in. Bending the left leg up, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And circling it first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling the left leg in for a hamstring stretch. Your right leg may be bent or straight. Extending that left leg out towards the left side, keeping your right side on the mat. And we'll take that left leg up and across the body over to the right. Extending the left arm out into a T, keeping your left shoulder on the mat, and lifting down your left arm. And we'll release, bring the left leg back up, bending both knees, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh, reaching the left arm through, pulling on the right leg, lining that right knee up with your right shoulder. And we'll release, hugging the knees into the chest, extending arms out into a T, either dropping both knees to your right, or if you want, you can cross your left leg over your right thigh first, and then take the knees to the right. So repeating one of the two lying spinal twists that we did at the beginning of our practice. And we'll release and switch sides and cross legs one way, cross them the other way. We'll all take those knees over to the left. And release, uncrossing the legs if they're crossed, hugging the knees into the chest, giving them a nice squeeze. And releasing it all down. So preparing for Shavasana, final relaxation. So if you want to put any layers back on at this time, your socks, sweatshirts, you want to grab a blanket or any other props that you might want to make yourselves comfortable. Coming into any position you choose. Let your mind wander and drift now to thoughts of buoyancy, floating, drifting, and relaxing. Close your eyes and listen to the words I speak. As you listen, allow yourself to relax. Imagine at this moment that you are sitting on the shore of a protected lake. It is very peaceful and calm, and the water is a deep blue. The lake is surrounded by trees. The trees have full green leaves hanging from their branches. Imagine a single drop of dew resting on a leaf. The leaf is on a tree which hangs over an expanse of flat, undisturbed water. As the dew rolls down the leaf, feel tension giving way to gravity, gradually releasing hold of the leaf and falling slowly towards the water. As the dewdrop is welcomed into the water, Imagine the ripples it creates. Each enlarges slowly and gradually. This continues as its action is absorbed by the lake. Soon the lake is back to a relaxed, undisturbed, and smooth state again. There is no longer a single falling drop. It is now part of a large breath of calm, soothing water. And we'll start to little fingers and toes, circling ankles and wrists. And reaching the arms up overhead, just stretch and release. And either rolling to one side or hugging the knees into the chest, taking a few deep breaths before you make your way up to seated. Making your way into any comfortable seat you choose to finish your practice. Sitting up nice and tall and dropping the chin to the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And left ear to left shoulder. Bring the head up, taking the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release, taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling the arms up. And exhaling them down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Once more, inhaling it up. Bringing the hands together at heart center as we exhale. Delighting me honors delighting me. Namaste.